If you're thinking about getting into short-term rentals or you're already a host, you might have been thinking recently, what happens to Airbnb during a recession? Do bookings dry up? Do nightly rates tank? Is it even worth investing? Well, today I'm breaking down 10 different recession-resilient STR markets out there that will perform well in almost any climate, and this is all backed by data. We're talking occupancy rates, average daily rates, how much money you can make, and even the Zillow medium home pricing. So you can find markets that don't actually just survive a downturn, they actually thrive. Let's get into it on today's episode of Bigger Stays. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Garrett Brown. I'm a short-term rental investor from Houston, Texas, and I work at biggerpockets as the STR expert. Now, if you decided to click on this video, you might be interested in short-term rentals, or you probably have one at this point, and you're curious what is exactly going to happen with the changing landscape that is going on right now. I don't have a crystal ball, and I cannot predict what is exactly going to be happening, if we're going to be in a recession. Are we in a recession? I'm not an economist like that, so I can't even begin to start. But if we do enter into something like this, there are a few keys that will make certain markets stand out over other ones that can even thrive in this type of environment. The 4 key things to think about are drive-to destinations. These are when people stop flying and driving more places, so the closer you are to major metro hubs, the easier it is to get tourism out to these markets. The second is a low cost to entry. You don't want to be stuck with a $10,000 a month mortgage on some luxury property in Scottsdale, Arizona, when there's no bookings coming into these type of properties and you're having to pay that every single month. Lower home prices means less risk. You don't want to get a super cheap property that's going to have a bunch of maintenance issues and performance issues, but there is a sweet spot that you could actually maintain if bookings were not coming in. Number 3 is year-round demand. This means tourism, but also think college towns, places that could be good midterm rentals, military bases, things that you can kind of pivot if you need to from the short-term rental market. And the 4th one is some type of attraction. People are still going to be traveling some domestically. It may not be as much internationally, but if you look at a lot of the markets on this list, there's an attraction somewhere nearby that people are still traveling to that does not cost an arm and a leg. Disney trips are going to be going down for a lot of people compared to going out to a national park or a national forest. So a lot of this data we're going to use today is coming from STR data expert AirDNA. They have things such as their market score, which range from 1 to 100, 100 being a lot higher on the markets. Think of Joshua Tree. California is one that's there. And then one of their lowest markets is Park City, Utah, which ranks at a 1. I think there's 2 or 3 that do. A lot of this data comes from there. The higher the market score, the better. But we're not only relying on just AirDNA market scores and data there, we're looking at a few different factors and a few other tourism factors that are just out there for the impact that recession resilient markets could have. So without further ado, drum roll please. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Number 1, Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. The median home price here is about $461,000. A little bit higher price in, but this also has the revenue to back it up. An average estimated annual revenue here is about $71,000 according to AirDNA, but I thought there was something very fascinating in this market. Now, while you have tons of attractions like the Smoky Mountains, Dollywood, all those things in between, in this market, it seems like you either go small or go big. The properties that are studios or 1 bedrooms, they're in the lower average annual revenue. They're in the $40,000 range. The 1 to 4 bedrooms get to about $60,000. Where it really starts to peak is when you get into the bigger bedrooms and the 5 plus, and they're $100,000 plus estimated annual revenue by AirDNA. So my advice in this market is go small or go big. Don't go in the middle because you're just going to kind of be in no man's land. Either go the romantic couple cabin getaway vibe or go big family style, and you'll be able to make sure that the money you put into it is coming back in the proper proportions you're looking for. So keep it rolling. Market number 2 is Broken Bow, Oklahoma. Now, this is in March 2025, and AirDNA gives out 1 free premium market, and they chose Broken Bow to give out the more data on and, kind of promote. So the cat might be out the bag on this one, but this has not long been known to Texas investors to be one of the, belle of the balls, or whatever lack of better words you want to use, because of its proximity to major Texas cities and also growing Oklahoma cities and a lot of outdoor recreation in the area. This has a medium home price of about $315,000, with their average annual revenue expected to be around $46,000. Again, these are blanket averages though for, all properties there. So these properties can adjust on their annual revenue estimated depending on certain things you have. The AirDNA score for this market is 94 out of 100. So it's one of the higher performing markets that they have based on all the data they're getting and the criteria they use to decide that. But this is definitely an area that I can agree with. Go small or go big as well. You could have more success in that middle range because I think there still is a gap in this market, but romantic cabin or larger families are just going to make more sense for you. Listings are up by about 8% as of 2025 March when we're in right now. And so listings are starting to grow and they're picking up, but there's still quite a bit of opportunity there with the median home price being lower. Market number 3, Red River Gorge, Kentucky. This is one of the most underrated spots in the Midwest because of its proximity to outdoor areas. It has a market score of 97 out of 100 on AirDNA, and it's really starting to gain some traction in the STR world. Its median home price is around $260,000. So the entry point is even lower than some of the other ones on this list, but it also is not a massive money-making market. There's no property in this market that is expected to make $100K in revenue, which that's why you have a lower cost of entry to get into it. But at the same time, if we're talking recession-resilient markets, people are still going to want to be outdoors. They're willing to drive a little more, but they're going to be looking for a stay that can not break their bank. And this is that type of market that they could be looking for. This place is extremely popular with A-frames, unique stays, glamping, those type of operations. And I think they can perform well if you do your due diligence and make a wise investment into the land and maybe the land hack that you're possibly doing with a property there. Market number 4 is St. Petersburg, Florida. There's a lot of markets you could pick within Florida that, vary with how popular they would be. I would avoid any luxury locations, Miami Beach and places like that. St. Petersburg, Florida was just the one I chose. It has a 76 out of 100 on the AirDNA market score and even has seen an increase in its estimated annual revenue. Now it's about $55,000, but that's up 9% since 2024. Their demand is up by about 5% to about 65% occupancy rate, and the listings are down about almost 9% year over year. Regulation is getting a little tighter in these markets, so just work with a qualified investor-friendly agent that understands short-term rentals and will be able to guide you to the right type of area you should be in. Are you drowning in spreadsheets and guessing your STR profits? Don't worry, I get it. I was too until I found Baselane. Baselane is an all-in-one banking and bookkeeping financial platform that was designed for short-term rental investors. Imagine no more reconciliation or manual data entries. Baselane's banking and AI-powered bookkeeping instantly will categorize your income and expenses. Buy each property for real-time cash flow that you can see. Baselane automates all the financial busy work so you don't have to, and you can just focus on what matters, getting more bookings and scaling your business. It's time to take control of your finances instead of them controlling you. Are you ready to automate and supercharge your cash flow? Click the link below for your exclusive $100 bonus. Number 5, maybe a little controversial because of how their year happened last year, but I picked Boone, North Carolina. This is near the Blue Ridge Mountains and things. It got hit extremely hard by Hurricane Helene, I'm pretty sure was the right one. Last year, devastated a lot of the town. A lot of places were still under construction or trying to come back. I just have high hopes that this market is going to come back extremely strong and was already one of the top destinations in the South. Their AirDNA market score right now is only 53 out of 100, but that also has a lot to do with, the data they were able to get from last year with everything that happened, especially towards the end. This is not a market that I particularly am relying on AirDNA to know how much it's going to pick back up. It is near a college, Appalachian State, so there's always the midterm side if things don't pick up too well. But I just have strong faith in this market from a lot of the data in previous and what I know about its location and proximity to the attractions and major metro hubs. Market number 6 is Luray, Virginia. This is near the Shenandoah Valley, which is there's Shenandoah National Park nearby. So it's one of my favorite markets that has started to get quite popular in the last couple years. It has an AirDNA score of 95 out of 100. and has consistently seen some of the highest growth in all the different categories they look at. It still only has a median home price of $284,000, especially in this little market of Luray. But I think the even more interesting thing about this is there's only 81 short-term rentals active as of March 2025 in this market. So working with somebody qualified to help you get into the right area that could have a permitted short-term rental, you may be able to capitalize on the gap that is there with a national park nearby that is one of the fastest growing ones in terms of tourism views. Market number 7 is Branson, Missouri. Branson has a median home price of about $255,000, but depending on what kind of property you're getting into, it could definitely get quite a bit higher looking in these types of markets because you're looking usually for bigger family homes here. Airbnb named it last year one of the top 10 fall Thanksgiving markets that were searched on Airbnb, which was surprising because it was under all the big boys. You think of Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg and places like that. Branson was kind of the one that slipped in there that people were a little surprised by that made this list of most searched places in fall. But after this was kind of happening and it was getting more popular, listings have surged by about 20% here. And so this has caused regulation to kind of tighten up from everything I'm seeing on the outside. I don't personally invest in this market. I did look at it quite heavily, but it seems like there's a lot of positives there, and finding the right property can lead to some high equity growth in the future while also being able to get a good balance of cash flow. Number 8 is Logan, Ohio. This one really took off in the last couple of years because of all the unique stays that are there now. Very popular on social media. There's a lot of outdoor areas in Hocking Hills that people, rave about. And so they go viral on social media a lot. And then matched with the really unique stays. This place was a true hidden gem for a while and now might have become a little more well-known and maybe not as easy to find a deal in. But they still have a median home price of around $250,000. And this is one of the, I think, 3 or 4 at the time of filming markets that have a 99 out of 100 score on AirDNA, because you're able to make an estimated annual revenue of around $52,000, which is pretty high for the median price that is given by Zillow compared to each other. So getting into the Logan market might become more competitive over this year, but doing something unique could definitely stand out and have the travel influx you're looking for. Now, the last 2 markets are not just certain markets, but they're more generic things that I want to just point out. Number 9 on this type of list would be college towns. These are going to be very resilient to recessions anytime because there's still going to be short-term travel there, sport activities, parents visiting, their kids in college. And then at the same time, students and traveling professors and everything else will need accommodations there. So think about that when you're looking into it. The short-term, mid-term rental for college towns is a very lucrative side if you can get a good deal. Don't overpay for a deal because then it's not a good deal at that point anymore. But the 10th one would be also looking for short-term rental friendly suburbs outside of major cities. So this would be, areas like Waco, Texas, that are kind of between Dallas and Austin and Houston that still have an eclectic vibe to them that people still will travel to just to get out of their own bigger city. These places are starting to crack down on their short-term rental regulations, as almost everybody is, besides Myrtle Beach, who is going against long-term rentals now. So shout out to Myrtle Beach. But these type of cities can pivot well to midterm rentals too. So just, be mindful of where you're picking out a location. If it's an hour or less from a major metro hub, there's a possibility that there still could be quite a bit of tourism if you have something unique to offer. That's the 10 markets. Like the last 2 weren't really markets, but I could put whatever college or STR friendly suburban market I wanted to there, but I wanted to give you all the opportunity to kind of think critically in your area, especially because there's not really much love for the West Coast or the far East Coast on these lists, usually because they're higher priced places. So recession or not, people will still travel. They just travel a little differently. The luxury high-end vacations, international travel, that tends to slow down, but domestic travel at a reasonably affordable place that is clean, and they'll still, pay a little money to go here. So just be mindful when you're thinking about this going forward and how your place might perform if you're already in some of these type of markets. If this was helpful at all, drop a comment below. Let me know if you have any questions or if this is the type of information you'd like me to provide and what type of market you're curious about. Till next time, I'll see y'all then.